Welcome to the Chill Spot Podcast.
We are chill today, I must say.
Yeah, it's gonna be
real relaxing.
It's gonna be a bad podcast.
No, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we always have fun when we do this.
We have some business to take care of before we jump into our normal ridiculousness.
Our regularly scheduled nonsense.
Regularly scheduled ridiculousness. Our good friend Martina, who is a fantastic cosplayer. You should follow her. It's Petite Chat Cosplay. Chat as in like the French word for cat, C-H-A-T. Yeah, anyways, Petite Chat Cosplay. She tweeted, she was like, I finally changed my Twitter bio to match the official and entirely accurate description of myself given by the Chill Spot show. And her bio reads, she's also rather harmless and has many interests. So I quote tweeted that on the Chill Spot podcast and said to @ us with your fave episode of the podcast, and we'll describe you. Like, we'll offer up one of these descriptions. So we have to do those subscriptions because some people were kind enough to respond.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. So our moderator and good friend of the podcast, Brad Shirk, was on that.
Can we skip him?
This fucking guy named episodes 34 and 43, which are the ones he was on.
The episodes he was on, yeah.
And if that doesn't describe Bradley Shirk, no, I'm just
kidding.
No,
I know, of course, yeah, that's a joke. Well, it's funny because Shirk Boy, our good buddy Shirk Boy, he's always been a big supporter of the channel, so we want to describe him. You want to describe him in like a couple sentences?
Yeah.
Have some more confidence, start a YouTube channel. Jesus Christ.
Exactly, my dude. Like, fucking get it together, bro.
You'd be better at this than we are.
Yeah, I swear to God. He's actually down with the kids. Like, he's up on the trends. He listens to the music. Mm-hmm. He like watches all the movies. He knows all the TikTok, all the viral trends of the day.
You and I.
He would be the perfect YouTuber.
We literally just talked about how if we wanted to promote the channel more, we should be doing more trend chasing. Yeah. But we're not necessarily comfortable with that because we don't exist in those spheres ourselves. Yeah. Brad does.
Yeah.
And like,
it works.
If anything, I want him to be our fucking social media manager. You know,
we can't pay him right now.
Of course, because we got no money. So if you're listening to this podcast, be sure to subscribe to us. Yeah. And like follow us and participate.
So that we can pay Brad to be our social media manager.
But both of Brad's episodes, I think it's called, the first one's called A Pool Full of Shirks, and then the second one is called Discovery Channel Shirk Week. And I think
so, yeah.
I must admit, those two are two of my favorite.
43 is A Pool Full of Shirks.
Okay, so it's A Pool Full of Shirks, and then the other one is Discovery Channel Shirk Week.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite podcast names. And I love all of our podcast names, I'll be honest with you.
I didn't know we had him on the podcast twice.
What?
I didn't know we had him on twice.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you not know?
I don't know. I remember because he stayed over the one time, and then I don't know. We must have like gone home on the same day.
We did a remote podcast the second time.
We did a remote podcast with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because it was when COVID hit, and
we were desperate for content.
We wanted people to. I wanted to feel like a regular person, so I invited one of our friends on.
Yeah. Who always makes us feel like a regular person.
Exactly. That's the real description.
That's a good description of Bradley. Always helps you feel like a more regular person.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Take that however you want. If he were here, he would be like, well,
he'd be like, no!
I make you feel like a more regular person because I'm so fucking weird.
All right, okay, Brad. Okay, thank you.
And that's not what I mean.
Actually, his hair is long as fuck right now.
I know. It looks good. Looks good, bro. You look good, kid.
Isn't it kind of funny to, like, real side note before you continue, like, obviously we talk about our life and our experiences and the people we've met and all of our friends who are all into art and all these different things. Isn't it kind of weird how they both exist in this odd Chill Spot reality, but then are also real people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Martino turns around and is like, oh, like, I love what you said about me. And it's like, oh my God, we said something about her.
Yeah.
Even if it is positive. I was like, Jesus, this should be careful.
Well,
Timothy Chalamet is going to fucking kill us.
I think I literally said that last week when I was talking shit about Shakespeare, and then Toby found our podcast.
Exactly.
He was literally the last person I want to hear me talking about
but here we are
Shakespeare
with
in
a
negative
megaphone,
way.
like, listen to our podcast, please.
Yeah, it's like,
But not you. You don't listen. No, not you. That's actually, before we continue, that actually reminds me of when I first started doing my voice coaching with Melissa Ultra and Voice Pro Studios, which if you want to be a voice actor, look that up.
Always be closing.
Of course.
Always be closing.
Melissa's the best. But when she added me on Facebook, in order to like stay in contact and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of Chill Spot promotion on Facebook. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, if she uses stories, she's gonna inevitably see this stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder about that. Oh, it's kind of like.
But all you do is name drop her, and like you include her studio name in the shout out.
Of course.
And you say nothing but nice things.
I know,
so
but then she's also gonna hear. I don't know, hear me rip fart jokes and like explain in great detail how to give good cunnilingus or something.
And describe in detail exactly how you like your bongs clean.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm like,
real hood rat shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're listening, Melissa, thank you for everything.
But you gotta own up to it. If anything, this podcast is like making me more chill about being vulnerable in front of other people, because I have no choice, because now anybody I know can walk up to me and be like, so yeah, like this episode of the podcast where you talked about this thing, and I'm like, oh fuck, I talked about this thing out loud for the whole internet to hear, and it only makes sense that you heard it because that's literally how podcasts work,
and it's on the internet.
I have absolutely no right to be feeling the way that I'm feeling right now.
It's on the internet,
let's deal with it.
And it's free, and I told you to listen to it, and you did.
Here we go.
Please don't acknowledge I exist ever. Okay, I don't need that. I don't need that kind of pressure.
No.
Who's the next person?
We're not even famous. Anyways, our friend Bob
Bob
said episode 61 was her favorite.
Which one's episode 61?
The Great Canadian Talking Show.
Oh, that's a good one.
The week we talk highways, amusement parks, and really making sure who you travel with.
Okay.
So I don't remember like the conversations, but I definitely remember talking about like making sure you like who you travel with.
Yeah, that was a big part of that episode.
Yeah, but as for Bob is something else, man.
I'm sure they're gonna love
Bob
that.
is. The thing I love about Bob is that Bob doesn't give a shit about what you see. We just talked about like, oh my God, like I had this podcast and like sometimes I talk about fart jokes and I don't know if my uncle's going to hear it or not. Bob doesn't give a shit.
No, it's the best.
I mean, she gives a lot of shits. Like I know that she has her self-conscious issues, as we all do. But like Bob is like the front woman of a metal band and comes out in like lingerie.
Bob
with
is
like
a
her
badass.
head half shaved off and like makeup, and like if the makeup gets smeared, she doesn't give a fuck. She's metal as hell, like so badass. Does boudoir shoots in the middle of winter in leather and chains, and like is just so like, yeah. Excuse me. I hate the way I look sometimes, but fuck it. Here I am. Fishnets, leather, in the streets, taking photo shoots.
Here it is.
Fronting a metal band. Like, fuck you guys.
Here's the sentence. Bob is unapologetically herself.
Yeah.
And that's what we love about you, Bob.
Yeah.
If you listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Bob, I see how much Bob shares on the internet, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could be that open.
Totally.
Damn, I wish I could be that open. Even when she's not having a good day. Like, you will never, like, if you don't hear from me on Twitter, it could mean a million things, but it usually means I'm having a bad day. I don't have anything to share.
Right.
I only post if I have something like sunny. I'm totally in on the social media lie. Like how it's like
I want people to think that my life is the best.
I only post the good stuff.
Yeah.
So if I'm not posting, I don't have anything. I don't have anything good. So there's that. But Bob posts it all. Bob,
and that's admirable in my opinion, because you're right, because I can't do that.
Bob explains it all. She's like Clarissa that way. Yeah. And I always say, like, one of my favorite memories of Bob is that when I was doing Importance of Being Earnest in school, she was the sound person for that show, sound or lighting. She was in the booth, and she knew that I liked Fall Out Boy. So before call time, she was testing the sound, and I was in the green room just like hanging out before I had to go get ready. And she like taps me on the shoulder and just like motions like with her hand to like follow her. And like she ran me into the theater, and like Fall Out Boy was blasting, like good Fall Out Boy, like Take This to Your Grave era Fall Out Boy, like the old shit.
None of this bullshit.
And we like headbanged in the theater before the show started. And I was like, okay, cool, I gotta get in my corset now. And she's like, all right, cool, go.
Okay.
Good sesh though. Yeah. Good sesh though.
Bob was one of the first people who really like accepted me into the theater performance community.
Yeah.
Like she before anyone else. Like I remember I
wanted to fuck you.
She did. But you know what? I can only say that because she's told me many times about how
doesn't hold back anything.
But that's what we love about her.
Yeah.
But I walked into the theater performance for the first, like it was like the orientation of the first years.
Right.
And I was like 5 minutes late.
I didn't go to that.
And I walked in, and you know, everyone's already sitting down.
Yeah.
And it was all the people we knew in theater performance. It wasn't like extras. It was all like the homies.
The people, yeah. The peeps.
And I was like, oh, okay. And Bob was straight up from like the top row was just like, hey, sit here. And I was like, okay.
Yes, Bob.
And I walked up and I sat next to her. And yeah, and then she was one of the first people from theater performance to follow me on Twitter.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's so Bob.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we love about you, dude.
Yeah, you will never be alone as long as Bob knows who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You will never not have a friend.
Always seen. Always felt seen.
Always felt seen.
Totally.
And then the last person who responded was our buddy Will from Big Cake.
Will!
He said that, I know it's recent, but I was digging episode 73, which was like 2 weeks ago at this point. Spitters, Not Quitters. We were talking about fanny packs. Oh, yeah, the one where it's like skinny white people make ugly fashion look hot.
Totally.
And they're the only people it looks good on. And then talked about high school memories and how it's actually okay to quit.
Yeah.
Like, no, like you're allowed to quit.
Totally.
Sometimes. And Will is similar to Bob in the sense that, and he's since said that he's like, I'm so not like that anymore. But like Will was a year above us in university.
Our upperclassmen.
And if he saw a lowerclassman hanging out in the student lounge in the green room where all the older kids hung out, he would walk up to you and be like, who are you? And like make introduce yourself to everybody. Like just cut the shit. Like you're not going to be a stranger here for long, so don't even try it. Just like, who are you? What's your name?
I love that though.
Tell us who you are. Don't just sit there quietly in a corner like a wallflower. No, I'm dragging you out.
But you know what it is though? A lot of people would see that and think that's like intimidating behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like an effort to intimidate.
And Will could be an intimidating dude. Like he's tall, he's got a deep voice, he's got a sick beard.
It's
like
true.
He walks up to you and you're like, oh my fucking God, is this lumberjack gonna kill me?
And then 2 seconds into the conversation, you're like, oh, you're actually the sweetest human being.
The nicest person.
Like who's hilarious.
Yeah.
And funny and kind.
Great comedic timing.
But he does that like, hey, who are you? Like, but after you do that, you realize that he's pulling you into this really warm circle of like awesome people who want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And yes, well, this conversation may have been a little abrasive. You're now in, and that's what matters.
But other than that, like Will is just like, especially since he says he wouldn't do that.
Of course he
today.
wouldn't do that anymore.
He's just like the biggest teddy bear and like the nicest. Like, I don't talk to Will all of the time. I will go literal years without saying a word to Will. But if I see him, like if I'm in Toronto and I randomly see him somewhere, I know I can walk up to Will and be like, oh my God, Will. And he'll be like, Sam, good to see you. It's not weird.
Yeah.
It's not one of those people where it's like, oh my God, this like person that I went to school with like 7 years ago came up to me.
Hell no.
Like it's not like that.
If I
with
saw Will somewhere, I'd point at him.
And
be
he'd
like,
point at you back.
Well, and walk over and hug him.
Yeah.
You know, like, it would be great.
Yeah, yeah.
And
he's not too sick of your shit to say hello in public. And that's what Will is like.
Now he was our upperclassman in university, and now he is our peer in the podcasting world.
Yeah.
Because him and Alenka do Haven't Seen It podcast.
Yeah, and they do Big Cake sketch comedy as well.
That's right. Which you
so
can
funny.
check all the links to if you watch on YouTube. You can go to our Check Out These People section on our YouTube channel and subscribe to Big Cake and Haven't Seen It.
Yeah.
Both great. We've actually been on Haven't Seen It.
Yep, episode 6.
6!
Talking about jaws.
And like penises and shit. Because,
because we can't not do that.
Apparently, Will was telling me that no one has quite brought the big dick joke energy that we brought in our episode of Haven't Seen It. But they were also on our podcast, episode 45, Family Guy Does It Better.
Yeah. Actually, Toby just listened to that episode.
Oh, no way, did he?
Yeah.
Comments? Did he say anything?
He just said that it was nice hearing Will. He was like, hey, I know those people, and like it's people that I know doing good stuff together, and it feels good.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like, truth be told, well, first and foremost, thank you for everyone.
Thank you to everybody who responded.
That is super cool to engage with us.
Yeah. All the right people answered. How about this? All the people who I wanted to answer that question answered.
Totally.
So,
and we love you all. And thank you so much for supporting us.
Yeah.
And we support you right back.
Yeah.
What was I just about to talk about? Or springboarding off something.
So I was saying how Toby said it was nice to hear like people we went to school with.
COVID, we say this all the time, but should this year have been different?
Yeah.
This year of Chill Spot would have been very different.
Absolutely.
We would have had like more people from the theater program come on.
Absolutely, yes.
More people from the other podcasts we know come on.
Because listen, we tell these stories about school, but like perspectives are missing. And I would love to just like sit and have a good old kiki about like what all went down in some years and stuff.
Toby, your boss, paid us a
not my boss, but
I thought he is.
Yeah, like to me he is, but he would never let me call him that. And since he listens to this podcast, he's gonna actually me about it. He's like, I'm not your boss. So he's not my boss. He's my friend.
Toby, the CEO, he paid us a lovely compliment about our podcast and how it sounds like Green Room Conversations back from UW. Mm-hmm. Now, the last thing I want to do is make our podcast inclusive or exclusive, rather.
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel like they can't listen to the conversations and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, because our real life friends are in this, and I don't want you to feel like you're entering a clique.
No, but at the same time, our real life friends are also working artists who are doing stuff. And like, you know, outside of the conversations we have personally, they have work to promote and like cool
Newer
stuff.
generation artists got to support each other and hype our own shit.
And that's what we're into, man.
We're our biggest supporters in the beginning.
We want the Green Room energy, but
in the world.
In a more inclusive. Excuse me. I always get them backwards.
Yeah.
I always get them
They're very
backwards.
close together.
But a more inclusive conversation level where it's like, you don't necessarily need to know who we're bringing on the podcast, but I hope you enjoy the conversations in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like about these kinds of podcasts, these like conversational podcasts.
I also feel like in this day and age, and this isn't my favorite thing about the world today, but as a consumer myself, I can also appreciate it. I want to know that the person, it kind of goes into my like my MO for like my celebrity crushes, which I've explained before. It's like, if I'm going to consume your stuff, I kind of want to get the vibe that you're a cool person.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
And like we would get along.
Sure.
You know?
I feel like that goes without saying.
And that's why I love celebrities are starting to do this thing where they have their own talk shows and their own podcasts. And when other celebrities have press to do, they just go around. Yes, they do like regular press, like junkets, and go to talk to like Vanity Fair,
you gotta hit the
Variety,
right?
and stuff like that. Yeah. But they also include, and some of the best interviews come from these podcasts and date talk shows and nighttime talk shows hosted by other celebrities. I know Busy Phillips had a talk show and she now has a podcast. Kelly Clarkson has a talk show now. Dax Shepard has Armchair Expert.
Well,
Mark Maron, who's a stand-up comedian, has a podcast that's very good. It has been going on for years. He was doing podcasts before they were like podcasts.
Yeah, before everyone had a damn podcast.
Yeah, back when it was just talk radio. But the celebrities love going on these shows because these people are also celebrities, so they're not going to ask you, like, they know all of the shitty rabbit food questions that people hate asking, so they're not going to ask those questions. They're going to get some, like, the base amount of respect because they know what it's like, you know? It's like if I were to be interviewed by a marble slab employee, like, it only makes sense.
It's like chumming. You're talking with your friends.
Exactly. And that breeds, like, really, really, really great interviews. And you get to know the person's personality from that.
Yeah.
And I can kind of glean whether or not I think this person is like a cool person or a good person that I want to support. Person. And I kind of want to offer that for new gen artists because they don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury because we're new generation artists. Mm-hmm. We don't have the luxury of press wanting to talk to us just yet. We kind of have to generate our own buzz.
I mean, we came to that realization many years ago when we started Chill Spot.
Yeah.
When we were like,
that's why we started this.
No one is going to write the play that we really, really want to be in besides us.
Yeah.
I say play because at the time that was our angle.
Yeah.
And it still is in a lot of ways. But
Yeah.
like, you know, priorities have shifted.
Yeah.
Because that'd be art for you.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest realization and some advice I would give to young artists is don't wait for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Make your own perfect opportunity.
Yeah. But no, like if COVID had let us slowly backtracking here, I kind of went all the way out and now I'm working my way back. If the year was allowed to proceed as normal, if 2020 wasn't a complete and utter shit show, then I would love to have, we have friends who are trying to be influencers right now. We have like Will and Alenka who are doing sketch comedy and podcasts. Like, I have friends who like want to be musicians and stuff. Like, I would love to have them all on and we can talk about our lives and you can vibe with us and them as people. And then you can check out their stuff. And you can also check out my stuff. You can also check out Cam's stuff. And you can also like get, you know, like I think I fucking love my little world, you know? And I think that if more people had the chance to operate the way that I get to operate and have the privilege to operate in, it would be a better world. And I'm interested in making the world a better place. So here we go.
Yeah,
like,
let's do it. Yeah.
The podcast. Hello. So yeah, no, I would love to, you know, bring all my chums on and goof and gag because that's just a good time.
And also just more industry professionals. It'd be fun too.
Yeah.
Right? Like I say our friends, like obviously they're our friends, they are, but our friends are also industry professionals, you know, like, but even as we meet people, you know, as we go forward with our careers and stuff, like, I like to think that if we strip everything away from Chill Spot, like I mean, this is completely theoretical. If we were to stop doing Twitch streams, if we were to stop doing game videos, whatever we want, I think the one thing that we would still be doing even at 40 is the CSP, is the podcast. Because I've had peaks and valleys with the podcast. I remember at one point, during COVID, I was really unhappy. Yeah. Generally. Yeah. So obviously that reflected in the podcast. But since getting the studio built and since like really figuring out this rapport and figuring out our tone, like I'm really, really excited for the future of this show. And I think that we could do like fucking 900 goddamn episodes.
I would love that.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't even care. I don't even care if one person listens. I just like doing this. I'd like if more than one person listens. That would be
more
nice.
than one person already does listen. We're very fortunate.
And, we have awesome supporters.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just I like my little podcast. I like sitting in this little studio. I like talking to you every week.
Yeah.
I like goofing and gagging and sketching and scheming and being a dumbass and joking around. And yeah, I just want to do more of it. Honestly, like ever since we had that conversation a couple podcasts ago about like finally relaxing in like your comedy and like how you want to be funny, I just want to be silly all the time. I saw this post on Tumblr that was like, I have to be silly at least once a day, otherwise my brain will grow mold. And if that ain't me,
yeah, man, 100%.
If that ain't me, oof. I love that shit.
Being silly is the best.
I love being silly.
I think a lot of people lose their sense of like they get bogged down in what it means to like grow up.
Yeah.
But like being silly, in my opinion, it's kind of like your vices, right? People ought to explore your vices because that's what makes you a well-rounded person, at least in my opinion. Like, does that make sense when I say that?
Yeah, just as long as that vice isn't like heroin.
Oh, yes, Sam. I excluded hard drugs from my list of vices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, a vice is like a step above a guilty pleasure.
Right.
If something is a vice, it's like you need it and you're clinging on to it, but it's kind of hurting you at the same time.
I've always assumed vices to be activities you participate in that you can't really describe as healthy, but you do them because you enjoy them. Like I don't know if it was like what you described.
I mean, like, Toby.
Okay, I'll Google the definition of vices. You can't ask Toby, the king god of mankind.
The Oracle.
The Oracle.
Oracle Toby.
Oh my goodness. Definition of vice. Look at us, we're fact checking. We're growing.
Well, we're Google searching.
Yeah, I mean, is that not fact checking?
Not to Toby.
Wow. Hang on. So, okay, according to dictionary.com or vocabulary.com, a vice is a moral failing or a bad habit. Traditional examples of vice include drinking alcohol, smoking tobacco, and gambling and card games. But anything could be a vice, as long as there's someone out there who views it as bad behavior or a moral weakness. So, like, would
anything.
Literally, like, you could say video games are a vice to some.
Yeah.
You could say fucking eating saltine crackers is a goddamn vice.
Yeah.
To some.
Yeah. Eating after 8 p.m. is my vice.
Yeah, me too. Because, like, you know, obviously, as everyone knows, we live with our parents, so my mom and dad eat at the same time pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So do I. But then I'll, like, get snacky around, like, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Like, want to, like, ooh, yeah, eat some smart food.
I just want a little something.
Just a little extra something. A little bowl of ice cream. You know, like, oh, chocolate sauce. Like, put it on popcorn.
Just
you know,
like a
like
little bit of caramel. Just like a little bit of caramel sauce.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit more.
Okay.
Just like a little bit more.
All right, come on.
Just like a little bit more caramel sauce. A little bit more.
I'll say when.
Okay. The bowl is full of caramel sauce. There's more caramel sauce than ice cream
I
here.
have not said when yet.
Cameron, stop!
Help! Are we there? Are we at that point of the podcast where we're just screaming in the microphone?
Yeah. Otherwise, my brain will grow mold.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay, well, tell me about... we watched a stand-up comedy show last night.
We watched Fortune Feimsters, something.
We watched Fortune Feimsters stand-up on Netflix. Oh, God.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was sweet.
It was kind of one of those things where, like, I feel like a lot of modern stand-up is this way, where, like, I don't necessarily need to be laughing the whole time, but I should be enjoying myself and, like,
sweet and salty. That's
sweet
what
and
it's
salty.
called.
I should be enjoying myself and almost being immersed in the stories, right? So, Fortune Feimster is her name?
Yeah.
Fortune Feimster is a wonderful storyteller. She's really good at telling stories.
Yeah.
And she's good at picking the stories that give her us insight into her life in a performance aspect, right? So, yeah, I didn't necessarily think that, like, every joke was bust out laughing, but I also don't think that there was any jokes that, like, didn't land.
I had a delightful time.
Exactly. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
It was an hour long and it was crisp, and by the time it ended, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
It's a logical ending for this stand-up, and I thought it was great.
It's good.
You know, yeah.
She told us a story about how she wanted to be on the swim team.
For the fun dip?
For the fun, because I guess the swim team kids did fun dip to try and, like, give them a performance boost. And she just wanted to eat fun dip, so she joined the swim team, and she was at a meet, and she neglected to show up for any of her events.
Yeah, she didn't do any single of the I forgot what it's called.
The events, like.
Oh, but no, there's a specific name for, like, when you swim back and forth. There's like a
laps.
Something.
Reps.
Something.
Lanes.
No, I don't remember, but she said it in the show. But no, I think
like
my favorite part about that, though, is when she was describing, like, being on the podium about to jump in, but, like describing what it's like to be hopped up on kid cocaine.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
But, like, she didn't know how to swim. She had signed up for the track meet, or for the swim team, got to a meet, and no one thought to ask, hey, can you swim?
Yeah.
It's like, how did you join the swim team without getting in water?
Right.
They really just took anybody? Like, what?
Well, she obviously, she's really good at telling it.
But
so you should go
saved
watch.
it until the last minute to tell you that she couldn't swim, which I thought was, like, great.
Yeah, it's good structure.
Yeah.
Good, like, storytelling structure.
Yeah.
But we don't want to tell you her jokes from us. So, like, go watch Fortune Feimster's Sweet and Salty.
I know we said we wanted to watch more, like, movies and TV shows that we've been meaning to watch, but I feel like we're on different wavelengths when it comes to those.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. Like, when I was thinking about what I wanted to watch, aside that was different from Drag Race, I wanted to start season 4 of The Crown, and you didn't even finish season 1.
I'm on season 2.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you didn't finish season 1.
No.
So, like, you can't watch season 4. It's history. Like, you're gonna be lost.
I mean, would you want to start from where I am?
No. That's why I didn't recommend it, because I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
I was like, this is going to be what's going to have to happen. Like, we're going to have to go to season 2. but we're not going to finish. We're going to go back to Drag Race at some point where it's not going to be a consecutive thing. I don't want to fucking go all the way back to season 2. I don't.
Sure. It's
a great show, and I'd be willing to rewatch it, but I would rather spend time watching stuff that both of us haven't seen yet.
Right.
I don't want to do the just one person and then we say that we'll catch up. You never catch up. You don't do it. It's a lie that couples tell each other. It's like, oh, I'm a couple episodes ahead, but we can start from where you are and catch up, and then we can start watching it together. You never fucking do that.
Well, because I also don't want, not for anything, but watching TV, and I've said this many times, watching TV and movies at home anyway is never my first nature. It's always something I have to say that I'm going to do, and I don't want my fucking free time spent on something I feel like is a chore. I don't want to gotta get caught up on The Crown so we can start season 4 with Sam. I'm interested in that, but I don't want to bang it out in a week, right? I don't want a week and a half later to be like, oh, I watched 2.5 seasons of The Crown. Yeah. Can we start season 4? I'm not going to be in the mood to watch season 4 after watching all that TV.
Exactly.
But we can definitely watch more stuff. I mean, I've been down to watch more movies and TV shows and stuff. It's just that
movies are long.
And
our free time comes at 10 o'clock at night.
Well, after we stream, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard.
We can't do that.
We're gonna be watching more rom-coms though.
Yep, that's coming.
That's on the way.
That's exciting. But again, I've seen all of them.
Right.
It's not a new experience for both of us. It's just for one of us.
I'm sure there's a TV show we could watch together. I think what you and I should do, considering that we like reality.
I guess that was Drag Race.
Huh?
I guess that was Drag Race.
Yeah.
We're complaining, but it's Drag Race.
Right. So, but if we like reality competition shows so much, we should watch another one. Watch The Amazing Race or something, or fucking I don't know, a cooking show, or even watch what my parents watch, which is fucking garbage crime shows that are easy to digest and go by in 20 minutes. Let's start Prison Break.
But this is the thing, right? I suggested that we step away from Drag Race because I spend so much time here. I spend half the week, sometimes more than half the week here.
Right.
Not at home. When I'm at home, I try and watch the TV shows
that you want to watch, yeah.
That are getting attention right now. I'm trying to watch I May Destroy You. I'm trying to watch I'm trying to think of other shows that people have been you gotta watch this, oh my god. Fleabag, I May Destroy You, Fleabag, The Boys, I have to start, Lovecraft Country, shows like that are a Watchmen. I still have to watch fucking Watchmen.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either.
Shows like that are generating all of this buzz. And then I get to your house and sometimes I'm spending half the week here or more and I'm not watching those shows. I'm just watching Drag Race. But watching TV and movies is part of my job.
Right.
It's part of, Lena Waithe says this. She's
relevance is important.
She was on this episode of Justin Simeon's podcast. Justin Simeon wrote Dear White People, and he was we were broke together and we had the same amount of money, but you always had a pimped out cable package. And Lena Waithe was I consider that to be my work. I need to have all the TV channels so that I can see what people are doing so that I can learn. It's how I learn. It's how I study. And I see it the same way. I watch TV and movies. Yeah, sometimes I'll watch something because I just I want to be entertained, that's what Dairy Girls is for. That's what Big Mouth is for. That's what Girlfriends, Moesha and Sister is
Drag
for.
Race.
And Drag Race. But I also want to dedicate time to staying up to date on television shows, knowing what's going on in the industry right now, seeing how the professionals are doing things and learning as much as I can.
I agree with
from
that, yeah.
Watching that. And I go at a snail's pace when half the week I'm at this house watching Drag Race.
Yeah, I mean, I agreed to watch other stuff.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah, but it's just a struggle because, I've started some of these shows, right? And also some of these shows are long. So when we sit down to watch TV at 10 p.m., it's okay, episodes of The Boys are 45 minutes to an hour long. Mm-hmm. I've already started I May Destroy You, and I'm deep into it. I'm 8 episodes in or something like that. I'm not going back for you. I love you, but I'm not.
Well, I mean, but that's part of the issue too.
Again, I've also started Fleabag, so right. I'm not going back. I'm all out of whack. I gotta get my watch list in order.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm disconnected when it comes to television. There's more movies I want to watch. Like, my friends have been talking about Mank. Supposed to be very good.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't have the list in front of me, but I've bookmarked a bunch of animated things on YouTube that I've been looking and want to get into. You know, just like you said, because with you being interested in television and TV, television and movies and film and all that, and me being more interested in the animation sphere, I also want to stay relevant and watch the things that people are currently talking about. It's just hard to do because when you come here, like you say that you're here for half the week and like you're not lying about that, but we're also not doing nothing during the day. We're not futzing about for 3 days doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're working.
Yeah.
You're working doing chill spot stuff and like coming up with new ideas and doing all this stuff that we do, and it takes all day. And by the time we sit down, it is 10 o'clock, right? So it's just a little hard because we also can't just stay up all fucking night either.
Yeah.
You know?
There's too much TV.
Well, I've also just accepted that I'm not going to watch all TV shows.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
And when people say, oh, what do you mean you haven't watched Schitt's Creek yet? It's like, man, there's just too much TV.
Yeah.
But there are 20 streaming services out there.
It's too many.
20 possible streaming services out there. And all of them have exclusives. And all of those exclusives, like a fraction of those exclusives are hits, like award bait hits. And I don't have access to all of them because I don't have all the streaming services because there's 20 of them. There's too much TV. I can't afford all of it. Not everybody had the channel that had The Cosby Show on it growing up, right? Not everybody saw The Cosby Show. So it was a small percentage, but it happened.
Yeah.
So I'm going to miss something. Sorry about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. Like, what do you want, right?
I just hate it when it's tied to identity. Like,
that just sounds like Twitter bullshit, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, and I'm getting better at not listening to it so much anymore. But I hate feeling like a bad black person because I haven't seen Lovecraft Country yet. You know? It's like, fuck off.
I mean, I'm only like an episode and a half into that. Like, we could start over. I'll do that for you.
Well, it's one episode. I am like 8 episodes into I May Destroy You. I'm not going back. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I'm almost done the first season of Fleabag. I really should be done the first season of Fleabag. They're like 6 episodes long.
Sure.
But I'm not going back. I'm 5 episodes into the first season of Fleabag and 8 episodes into I May Destroy You. You can. You're not even done the first episode of Lovecraft Country.
Yes, I am.
So hop off my dick.
I told you, You're
not even 20 minutes into the first episode of Lovecraft Country.
Wow.
You saw the opening credits and you turned it off.
Are you gaslighting me live on the podcast right now?
You were like, oh, there's a black person in this?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't watch this.
Journey Smollett. Whoa! She's super cute, though. I love her. She's really good in it, too. But we could do that. In my opinion, we should start with these, HBO miniseries. They're all, an hour-long episodes, and there's, 4 of them. Like tonight, let's start Chernobyl.
Can I admit something to you?
I mean, it's probably going to take the next 20 minutes of the podcast, so.
I don't fully know what Chernobyl is or was.
Oh, okay.
Or what happened there.
I had assumed
all I know is nuclear waste, and I don't. And I know it's radioactive, and you shouldn't go there. Honestly, Cameron, I don't know what it is.
Wow, I assumed you were going to go on some rant about how you don't care.
I don't know. I straight up don't know, and I've been lying this whole time.
Wow, that's really.
Whenever someone brings up anything related to Chernobyl, I'm like, yeah. So bad. I remember in the group chat a couple months ago, Emily was talking about how some influencers were going into Chernobyl to take selfies.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, so stupid. I was like,
so dumb.
Why aren't they supposed to be there?
Wow.
I kind of understand, but I don't fully understand.
Okay, so Chernobyl, I believe it's in Russia, was a nuclear power plant. They had a reactor failure, which it resulted in a big explosion.
Okay.
But then due to the incompetence of the government and trying to sweep it under the rug and all this political back and forth, a ton of radioactive fallout fell on the surrounding 100 kilometers.
Okay.
Centered on Chernobyl.
Okay.
And basically destroyed that whole area. And it's a huge political thing where it's The big thing about Chernobyl is that it could have been avoided.
Right.
If it was just competently handled.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
Okay.
And that's what the miniseries is about.
It's one of those things where there's like a million points where someone could have stopped it and they didn't.
Yeah, because like it's this whole
Before
thing
it got
about
to
how
disaster.
like it's kind of like COVID, where it's like everyone and their mother is just like, please stay at home. It's the one thing we have to do. But then no one wants to do that.
Right.
And then the government, like especially in the United States, is trying to downplay it and say like, oh, it's not as bad, but like, oh, but there's also people dying. Like it's literally like, I'm sure if we watch Chernobyl, you'll see a lot of parallels.
Okay.
And then my favorite thing about Chernobyl, the whole event, favorite thing is kind of weird to say. In the reactor where the explosion was, they have this like pure, I think it's like liquid radioactive material called the elephant's foot.
Okay.
It's literally like the core of the reactor that's just like chilling there.
Okay.
It is the most radioactive spot on the planet.
Okay.
You can't go into the place where the elephant's foot is without a hazmat suit at all. And even if you have one on, you risk major like artery failure for being in there longer than like 5 minutes. Like it's that radioactive.
Wow.
If you and I were to be like 20 feet away from the elephant's foot, we'd probably die.
Wow.
And if we were right next to it, we would die instantly.
Why is it? See,
because it's radioactive.
I feel like John Mulaney's wife thinking that The Last Supper was Thanksgiving. Why is it called the elephant's foot?
Because it looks like an elephant's foot.
Oh, it literally looks like an
Well, here,
elephant's
I'll bring up a picture of it.
Okay. I didn't know we had pictures of it. If it's the most radioactive thing in the world, I didn't know that someone had bothered to get close enough to it. I know you can be near it with risk, but I didn't think that anybody had bothered.
The elephant's foot is the nickname given to the large mass of corium and other materials formed during the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 and presently located in a steam distribution corridor underneath the remains of the reactor. It was discovered in December of that year.
Okay.
They also can't get, because it's in fact so radioactive that they can't get a good picture of it.
Oh, okay.
And it distorts camera lenses.
Okay.
It
looks like
looks like a big pile of crap.
It looks like somebody screenshotted like an act from BioShock right in the middle of like motion happening.
But yeah, it's super interesting. I only watched the first episode of Chernobyl and then fell off because my parents canceled HBO. And then we now have it on Crave again.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm down to watch all these shows. I think for us, Sam, we just need to start.
Yeah.
We can't discuss it. We can't pussyfoot. We're gonna sit down, press play, and shut up.
Yeah. True.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's just what we have to do. Because you and I, obviously, if you guys haven't noticed, we're on episode 75 of this podcast. We like to talk. And I enjoy talking with you all the time.
Yeah, but you want to talk while the TV is on, and I'm like, I can't pay attention.
Well, okay, no, but okay, there's a big difference between watching Drag Race and talking about the contestants and like what's going on in the show than like if we were watching Chernobyl or like Watchmen or like Lovecraft Country, where it's like this is narrative, we need to pay attention. I'm not gonna be that person who's like, what do you think is fucking happening right now? Where it's like, because all the questions you could be asking are answered in the show, and if they're not, talk about it after.
I find that I'm just as serious about not talking during comedies and reality shows as I am during like dramas and narrative heavy things. Like sometimes when we were watching Broad City, you'd like ask me to explain something and I'm like, shut up, just watch the episode. Like,
right.
They're gonna explain it and you'd be like, okay, so like this thing is like this thing, and I'd be like, Cameron, just watch the episode. And like I can feel your response coming, which is like, well, it's a comedy, like it's light, you don't have to. No,
it's non-committal. Yeah,
it is committal. Everything's committal. It's just because it's a comedy doesn't mean it's non-committal. It's still brilliantly written, and like they wrote it so that by the end of the episode you understand everything. Don't worry about it. Watch it.
Sure.
It's still narrative. Like just because it's light doesn't mean it's not narrative.
Right.
So just like enjoy it. Even Drag Race. Drag Race is narrative. It's all made up. It's all made up.
Right.
And like exacerbated by producers to tell a story. Like you just gotta pay attention. We'll see how things go.
Right, but I also just like having fun and like
I know you do.
Goofing and gaffing and making comments and stuff.
I know you do, but
I wouldn't do that during Lovecraft Country.
We are two different people when it comes to TV watching habits.
Well, you take all TV very seriously, and I very obviously don't take all TV seriously.
Yeah.
In the sense that like I'm not trying to belittle it or look down on it,
yeah.
but I think that watching certain shows are different experiences than watching others, right? Like, I don't talk when I go to the fucking movie theater.
No.
Because I'm not an asshole.
Well, but the environment also, like, there's social pressure to not do it. There's no social pressure when we're sitting in your basement.
But if we watched a movie over here, I would not be talking. You don't believe me? Why don't you believe me? Because I talk during Drag Race? We don't watch movies down here. You have no frame of reference.
No, you're pretty good about movies. I don't know. I don't remember the last time we watched a movie in the basement together. But
yeah, because we don't do it ever.
Yeah, often. But I just assume that you're the same with the TV on, regardless of whether it's a TV show or a movie. So,
well, when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself.
Call me donkey. E-aw. E-aw.
E-aw.
E-aw.
We should keep doing that whenever someone's really stubborn. Just like quietly, like E-aw.
E-aw,
E-aw.
dude.
This
E-aw.
fucking guy. E-aw. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But that's all I got.
So do you want to fucking make a commitment and talk and say that we're going to watch a TV show tonight?
Yeah.
Which one?
Let's explore HBO on Crave and see, cause I don't know, you want to start Watchmen?
Sure. We'll start Watchmen. We're going to watch Watchmen tonight.
Watchmen.
And then if we don't talk about it next podcast, you have to unsubscribe to us and flame us on Twitter, and I'll give you my IP address so you can dox us.
And tell Justin Trudeau to bail us out, and he will. And
we're actually a part of the We organization.
Yeah,
We're getting political now.
Yeah, this is a subsidiary of the We organization.
Justin Trudeau gave me $40,000 out of his own pocket.
We've been lying this whole time.
I was actually at a bus stop the other day, and Justin Trudeau walked in crazy-eyed and handed me a big bag of money with a big dollar sign on it, and was just like, take it, it's yours, take it. And I was like, are you the Prime Minister? And he just ran away as fast as he can.
He's wearing a monocle. It was really weird.
Yeah. Wearing a full jean outfit from head to toe.
Yeah, and then he got into a thimble and just like drove it. I don't know. I don't know.
It's Mr. Monopoly. Like.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense to me.
Use this to buy Park Place.
But he made it happen.
And I opened it up, and it was real Canadian dollars. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
We really do have Monopoly money.
Oh, no. And I went and bought a hot chocolate with it. Told him to keep the change. Gave that McDonald's worker $40,000.
I've never felt so rich.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never felt so rich in my life.
Probably should have asked for change. They don't have that kind of change at McDonald's.
No. No, they don't really do cash right now. They prefer not to. Job now.
This is going to be the first episode ever recorded the Chill Spot podcast that Sam is going to edit.
Pew, 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 pew.
You're taking over some of my editing duties.
I'm going to try. Well, I always wanted to learn, but my Mac did not like running Audacity. So
or DaVinci for that matter.
Yeah, well, if it didn't like Audacity, then it really didn't like DaVinci. Because Audacity has at least looked the same. I know they've been upgrading Audacity, but it has looked the same since I was in high school.
Yeah,
and the music kids were recording all of their weird choral pieces on it.
Yeah, man, because Audacity it's open source and it's really fucking useful. It's free.
It's a fantastic tool for considering how free it is.
Yeah.
Like it's got a lot packed into it.
And it's got a lot of really cool filters, which will actually help us make our podcast sound good.
Absolutely.
But how do you feel about editing? Are you excited to kind of...
No, I'm terrified.
What do you gotta be terrified about?
I'm terrified, but like it's a skill and I want skills. I need more skills. I don't have any skills.
You have plenty of skills.
I don't have any marketable skills that help me in this capitalist world that we live in.
Sure.
Where you need tangible skills to survive.
You know how to work Word and
you know what?
Google
if you
Docs.
gave me like Word 2019 version, I probably wouldn't know how to work it. I'm very familiar with like Windows XP Word, and that's about it.
I was talking to someone a couple of days ago who said like they had to get like they got a new laptop, so they had to either like renew. I think they're with the way Microsoft Word packages work now. It's like subscription based.
Yeah.
So like you subscribe and then you get it. So they had to get a new one. And I was like, why don't you just use Google Docs because it's free and it has like 90% of the same features. And they came back with me with like, no, there's like. My formats and stuff are like more suited for Word. And I was like, if you really want to blow like $200 a year on these programs you can get for free, then be my fucking guest. You making pamphlets? You making fucking postcards?
You can make pamphlets. They have pamphlet templates.
There's like a million templates on Google Docs.
Word or in Google Docs.
Yeah.
You can do that.
And then it's all everywhere. When I fucking sign off a Google document, I can pick up my phone and look at the same Google document.
Yes.
Like it's not locked somewhere, you know? And like I'm sure there's people out there who could poo-poo the cloud because everyone poo-poos the cloud. But like that's literally how this works. It's so handy.
Yeah.
You know?
You really, really don't lose much.
Yeah.
When you use Excel or slides or docs versus Word or PowerPoint or Excel.
Right.
Like,
no,
I said Excel Sheets. I meant Google Sheets is the version of Excel.
I hate Excel and Sheets. Whenever someone sends me a link and I click it, I'm like, oh.
That's another skill that I have to pick up on is like using Excel. And learning all the formulas and stuff like that. Excel and like video and photo editing and audio editing, I feel like are good skills to have.
I'll introduce you to paint.net, which is it's kind of like the Microsoft Paint on crack because it's really simple and straightforward, but it is a photo editing software. It's how I make our thumbnails.
Cool.
All of our dope ass thumbnails that I make.
Cool.
Because I'm really happy about it.
They're really good.
I actually, not to toot my own horn, but I'm always happy with our thumbnails.
They turn out really well.
You know?
Yeah. They look all smooth and good.
But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, that's right. Because I guess because you're editing this podcast, I can like tell you to do stuff. Hey Sam, put in a cartoon sound effect right here. Thank you. Well, you know what, Sam? Now that you're going to be the editor of the Chill Spot podcast, I'll leave all those responsibilities up to you.
And I will take that with stride.
Good.
And I will shoulder that responsibility, and I will carry the torch.
All right.
And I will walk the walk and roll the boulder up the hill, but not back down again.
You don't have
get
to
it to the top.
Extend the time. It's fine.
I will find my way. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday. Somehow I'll be strong.
There you go. Herc.
You're my one last hope, and it's up to me.
Does that make me Meg then?
Yep.
I'm Meg in this scenario?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
She's cool. I like her.
I told you that I listened to I Won't Say I'm in Love before I told you that I liked you, right?
You did, but like tell that story.
The night I told Cam that I liked him, I was texting my friends. I was like, guys, I like Cam, but he told me that he likes me, and I said no. And I'm scared now that if I go back, he'll be like, too late, bitch. I'm over your stank ass.
It had been like 4 days.
Should have had me when you had the chance.
If you can't handle me at my burst, you can't have me at my durst.
You can't handle me at my limp. You can't handle me at my biscuit. And so my friends were like, just tell him that you like him, Sam. Just tell Sam, you like him? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, just tell him that you like him then. And I was like, but what if he says no? And then they started taking forever to answer me back because they were sick of my shit. And
okay.
my group chat was, but my friend Sabrina was not. My friend Sabrina was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Was like trying to talk me through it. And while she was talking me through it, I turned on I Won't Say I'm in Love from the Hercules soundtrack and listened to it on repeat and like sung it all around my house while I was waiting for my friends to text me back. And then Sabrina finally hyped me up enough. And then I texted you and told you that I liked you.
There you go.
And then you became my boyfriend.
And now we're boyfriend, girlfriend.
Ever since.
And now we do a podcast. If you didn't listen to that song, we wouldn't be here right now.
Hercules has gotten me through so much in so many different ways. I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because I always say this every time we talk about Hercules, where it's like, I'm sure when the guy who pitched Hercules, it's like, okay, we're going to do a Disney-style musical about the legend of Hercules, right? But the soundtrack style is going to be like soul and soul music.
Like gospel.
And gospel music. And and the fates are going to be these like bodacious women who are all beautiful and everything.
The muses were the bodacious woan.
Did I say the fates?
Yeah.
I meant the muses.
The fates, aren't the fates the witches who share an eyeball?
That's right. Those are the fates. Sorry. Yeah. I get Greek mythologies. They have all these names.
Yeah.
The muses are going to be like, all these like soul sisters are going to sing. And I'm sure that everyone was like, Frank, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
But he was like, no, trust me, dude, trust me. And then they made it and it was Hercules.
And now he's going to be like the shyster guy and like, like the trainer kid is going to be voiced by Danny DeVito. And it's like, what the fuck?
And the devil, Hades, James Spader.
No.
Is that
James
not his
Woods.
name? Did I say James?
You said James Spader.
Is James Spader?
James Spader is Ultron.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was also in The Office. That's right.
I think he was a villain in a Disney movie as well.
Look it up. Damn, we're on our fact check bullshit.
I could be wrong. James Spader. Oh no, yeah, it's just Ultron. Right, because Disney owns Marvel. Right.
Right.
That's why when I type James Spader Disney, it shows up because they own Marvel. But yeah, he did Ultron. He did the Blacklist. James Spader did, not James Woods.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But James Woods was Hades. Hercules is starting to get its flowers as a movie, I feel.
I feel like everyone's always liked Hercules.
But I feel like for the longest time, people would forget Hercules because it's kind of like post-Disney Renaissance. So it's not up there with like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, and like or the other Renaissance, like Beauty and the Beast. Like it's not a big princess movie.
I was about to say it doesn't feature a princess as a main character.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less marketable to the core demographic of Disney people.
It's honestly like kind of a gender neutral Disney movie. And I feel like the more gendered Disney movies, like the princess movies for girls and then like Cars for boys, like it's harder to really like drive a merch bus behind it. Whereas things like even like Monsters Inc., honestly, like you don't see like Monsters Inc. birthday themes.
Not anymore.
Like birthday themed stuff. You don't see like Monsters Inc. like paper plates, napkin sets, party hats, like like loot toys and all that shit. But like kids be having like Cars birthdays, Princess and the Frog birthdays, Frozen birthdays. I'm trying to think of like another like Toy Story birthdays, you know.
Well, that's all stuff that is going to be timeless in the new age.
I mean, gender is a construct, but these things were at the time clearly marketed to one gender.
Of course. Well, I also don't think I think it's unfortunate, but I could look this up, but I don't think that Hercules was the financial success that they wanted it to be. Like, I think it made its budget back, and I think that it obviously performed well, but I think it may have underperformed in terms of like Disney standards. And that might be why we don't see as much Hercules stuff. Because think about it. Like, the reason why they pushed Frozen so goddamn much is because Frozen made like $2 billion.
So Hercules... Oh, fuck. I have to type in Disney's Hercules because I'm not talking about
the Dwayne Johnson Hercules?
Yeah.
I remember they released two live-action Hercules movies practically back-to-back featuring different actors, and they were both terrible.
Disney's Hercules had a budget of $85 million and it made $252 million. So it's
a huge commercial success.
It did do well.
But I don't think that's like, okay, for instance, now look up The Little Mermaid. How much money did The Little Mermaid make?
$233 million, and it had a budget of $40 million and made $233 million.
Okay.
So about the same.
Well, no, there's a $40 million deficit there.
Yeah, never mind.
So, like, they would have technically made more money on The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, then I was wrong then. Their profits were similar. And similar enough anyway.
But merchandising, because Little Mermaid can be marketed towards a specific demographic, little girls.
Yeah.
And then those little girls grow up and show their little girls, and then it just, it just keeps making money. Whereas, we all loved those like Hercules plates from McDonald's.
I still have mine, I think. Somewhere.
Exactly. We have them. What else? Like,
Well, they made that Hercules TV show that was pretty good. Where he's like pre-buff Herc and he's all like skinny and shit.
Like teenage Herc. Yeah.
And that's it though. Like, you're right.
And then we had that when we were kids, and now it's done.
I mean, like anything, Sam, I'm sure they tried to make Hercules merchandise and it just didn't sell, or like, or they sold all of it and thought like, great, this isn't worth renewing.
Yeah.
Whereas like Little Mermaid merch still sells.
Yeah, you can still get an Ariel Barbie right now.
And little girls, little boys for that matter too, will love that shit.
Yeah.
And then when, because that's how the Disney machine works, right? Like they talk about this on The Toys That Made Us, which is a really, really great documentary series you can watch on Netflix, where that whole industry is so fascinating to me because ever since He-Man, where they introduced the idea of like like
the toy first and the show to support it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now everything is that way.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite realize this, but a lot of my favorite animated shows are really in service to toys. That's literally why they exist. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles brand gets rebooted every so often so they could sell more fucking toys.
Even Bionicles. Your mom talks about Bionicles all the time, but I remember Bionicles being out for a while before they decided to make a show about it, and then it was like, why didn't we do this the whole time?
Totally. Well, actually, on the Lego episode of that series, they talk about how Lego was actually in like dire financial straits at that time, and they didn't want to do. They had staunchly against like doing weapons. Like they never wanted to make like little Lego guns for their characters to hold, which they've since completely gone back on.
Yeah,
like they don't. Obviously, they make Star Wars toys.
Yeah,
and you can get a fucking lightsaber and a laser gun.
Well, like a lightsaber. Okay, no.
Well, let me finish.
Yeah.
They also done like Lego City sets where the cop has a gun.
Okay.
You know, like they make real guns. They do it now.
Okay.
But Bionicle was an effort to add unique stories to the Lego brand, and then like.
I forgot Bionicle was owned by Lego.
Yeah.
It's technically a Lego thing.
It's technically Lego.
Yeah.
And their whole idea was because what I'm doing a bad job explaining it, but basically Lego at this point, when kids grew up, they lost interest. When a kid becomes a teenager, they don't want to play with Lego anymore. They want something more sophisticated, more articulate, like an action figure. So in order to get back that demographic, they came up with Bionicle, which is unlike anything Lego has ever done. It featured a story and these grungy characters and like big fantasy swords and like the story of Mata Nui, which is like the land they lived in. And
Mata Nui?
Mata Nui, yeah.
Isn't that the island that Moana is from?
I don't know.
Because there's that.
Hang on.
The song. It says it in the song. The island of Mata Nui is all you need.
I think you're right about that. One sec. Bionicle world. What the fuck is that world called? I thought it was called Mata Nui.
I'll Google Moana homeland.
No, you're right.
But like spelling. We got to check spelling.
Diverse cyborgs. Yeah, the tropical island of Mata Nui.
How is it spelled?
Matanui.
Oh, no. Moana's Mata Nui is Motunui.
That's amazing that they have the same name, though.
Yeah.
Or the same, like, pronunciation.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Is Moana gonna find the mask of destiny and put it on and become a fucking Bionicle?
Yeah.
No, but Bionicles were the coolest. They had so many of them. And then unfortunately, like any toy brand, it runs its course and then they don't make it anymore.
Kids move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they have, my favorite Lego brand, as long as we're talking about it right now, as an adult, is called Lego Technic and Lego it's called like Icon
Roblox?
or something.
No.
Yeah, Roblox, dude. I used to love Roblox when I was a kid.
You played Roblox? I thought Roblox was new.
Roblox has been around since like 2008.
Okay.
It's like fucking old. Okay. That's why it's so weird that Roblox is popular again.
Right.
Because like how? Right. But Lego makes these Lego sets that like it's like build Big Ben and it's like really accurate and like it looks exactly like big. It's like they do model sets now.
Okay.
Where it's like you can build the CN Tower and like have a super accurate Lego CN Tower and like it looks really nice and you put it on your shelf, versus like something I would love. Like I want that like $400 Millennium Falcon. Build that. That'd be cool as fuck.
Do you actually?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, not anytime soon. When it comes to hobby stuff, Sam, I don't want you to buy my hobby stuff. I want to buy my own hobby stuff.
It's not the buying it that I don't like. It's the having it. It's the what the fuck do I do with it now that it's built?
It is very big, yeah.
Like what?
No, the only Lego set I'm genuinely interested in is the Lego NES set that they built. Which is it's a little, you know what an NES is?
Yes, Nintendo Entertainment System.
You just looked at me like you had no idea what I was talking about.
No, I was just like, I guess at the end of the day, I also have to be grateful that you're not the kind of person who thinks that empty liquor bottles are decor.
Are there people that think that?
I appreciate that.
Are there people that think that?
Cameron, yeah, there are people who keep every can of beer that they drink and line it up on the wall on a shelf.
Why?
I knew a girl who was dating a guy who used to keep his empty dip containers as decor.
The fuck?
Yeah.
What's the difference between this wintergreen and that wintergreen?
He would
like,
line them up.
Fuck?
He would line them up along the wall on a shelf, and like that was decor to him.
Wow. That's gross.
Disgusting.
Did I ever tell you
Sometimes they don't even like rinse them out afterwards.
Oh,
it's
come
like,
on.
There's like year-old, like in cans that
Why?
like little bit of liquid stays in the lip of the can. They don't even bother to like rinse it out. They just put it on a shelf. They finish it and put it on a shelf. It's disgusting.
I'm still lost.
I hate being heterosexual.
I'm lost on the why still.
Because
why?
Because it's a point of pride. It's like, look, I like Jack Daniels, so like here's all these Jack Daniels bottles that are fucking on the shelf. It's Jack Daniels.
But it's just a bottle.
Sure is.
But well, okay, fine. Put it this way. I have upstairs an empty jar of Cheese Whiz that is in the shape of Mario.
Yeah.
Because that's a genuine collector's item.
Yeah.
And actually, I looked it up. It's actually very rare.
Oh, cool.
Like, hard to find.
Cool.
And I'll keep that forever.
Yeah.
I'm never going to put Cheese Whiz in it again.
No.
But, like, that's a cool thing. If you can tell me a story that if I point to one of your 40 Jack Daniels bottles.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's the story with this one? And you could tell me? Okay, fine. Have your damn bottles.
Yeah.
Fuck off otherwise.
No, it's just, I drank it. Another one on the wall. 99 bottles of Jack on the wall.
So are you just like a fucking loser then? Like,
yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah. It's what losers do.
You have no interests?
Yep.
You have no hobbies? You have no...
Hobbies are drinking either Jack Daniels or Pabst Blue Ribbon and lining them up on the wall.
That's baffling to me.
It's trash. You're displaying trash on the wall.
Real quick.
You're leaving your trash on the wall.
But if I got into someone's fucking car and there was like 2 or 3 bottles full of dip spit...
Ugh.
I'd be like, let me out of the car.
Yeah.
I'll walk to wherever we're going.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Have you ever told you how, like, the state of someone's car is how I judge their driving?
That's fair.
I don't feel safe if your car is full of trash.
Yeah.
I can excuse pet hair. If I know that you have a dog and, like, the dog is in the car all the time and there's dog hair all over the place, it's like, yeah, it's hard. I understand pet hair.
Yeah.
But, like, and smell, like pet smells. But trash and, like, gross stains, you know, and, like, smells that aren't pet smells.
Right.
And you're not even trying to air it out with an air freshener. Like, oh, man.
Yeah. No, my car was cluttered
So
for a very
gross.
long time just because of like
gross.
general negligence and like. Well, I'm obviously not excusing myself. I just needed to clean my fucking car, and I did. And since I like to think that I keep it rather clean, I don't eat in there anymore, so that's a big thing. But a part of the reason why my backseat would get so cluttered is because you don't ever sit in the backseat of your car, right? And I know that's kind of like weirdly naive and negligent, and like it is. I admit those things, but there was seriously times where I opened up my back seat and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is my back seat?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're like, this is what I put people through?
Yeah.
The rare time that I do have someone in this back seat?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta do something about this.
Yeah. But no, if you have a nasty car, I'm judging your driving, and I don't feel safe if you have a dirty car.
Yeah.
Which is why I keep mine like pristine clean.
Your car is very clean.
Yeah.
Like I try to keep my car clean, but your car is definitely still cleaner than mine.
I'm also like the only one who uses it, but like you're pretty much the only one who uses your car, and your car still got nasty. So it is possible. I just don't let myself get comfortable. I don't keep anything in my car.
That's the big thing, is getting comfortable, I think.
I don't keep anything. First of all, I don't have a garbage bag, so any garbage, I have a rule. Any garbage, because there's no garbage bag that is in the car, you have to hold on to it and put it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I've adopted
like outside of the car.
I've adopted that philosophy with all garbage, actually.
Yeah.
Whenever if I'm out, like if I get like a fucking sandwich or something and I'm walking down the street and I finish it and I don't see any trash bags around, well, obviously I would never litter, but I just put it in my pocket.
Yeah, I just
crinkle
carry
it,
it
put it in
with
your
me.
pocket.
I carry it with me.
And then when you get to a next trash can, just take it out and throw it out.
Yeah.
Same thing. I don't go.
You manage, and you find that there are garbage cans around. Like,
I never. Well, I tend.
find
I try not to eat in my car anymore, obviously. But if there is trash in my car, like a coffee cup or a bag from McDonald's or whatever, I don't leave it in my car anymore.
Yeah.
I used to think like, oh, I'll throw it out later. I'm tired. But no,
Yeah.
just throw it out right now.
Yeah, and then it would be in my seat when I went, and I'm like, do you love me at all?
McDonald's was here first.
This is my seat. I sit here. You know that your girlfriend is going to sit here, so why do you make me look at your trash
Sit
when
your
I go
Big
into
Macs
your car?
down, woman.
Do you not love me? Why don't you love me?
It'd be the name
You
of this podcast.
claim to love me. I am supposed to be your betrothed, and yet I have to sit in garbage? Not right.
Sam, do you have any Mac sauce on you?
No, because I yelled at you to keep your shit out of your car, and
No.
now you do.
I asked you if you had any Mac sauce because if you had Mac sauce, maybe you could sit in my car.
What?
Never mind, Sam.
Only what? It's like you would prefer mac sauce over your girlfriend? Is that
The burgers
is that
have
supposed
Mac
to be the
sauce.
joke?
They've been here first.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
I know. Now the pecking order is Hobbs, Big Mac sandwiches, Sam. I got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There might be some more things in there too, but we'll figure that out as that goes.
Okay, well, you just let me know what place I'm in at any given time, and I'll act accordingly.
I'll send you the weekly email blast.
Yep.
The update of the pecking order.
Yep. Just let me know when I go from like platinum to wooden league. Thank you so much.
Well, it's the least I could do to keep you informed.
Yeah. I just want to know. Knowing is half the battle.
Like I said earlier, G.I. Joe.
What?
You really? You've never heard knowing is half the battle?
It's from G.I. Joe?
Yep, that's a G.I. Joe phrase.
Didn't know that.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Stat in Chernobyl. I don't know.
Who the fuck is G.I. Joe? And is Chernobyl even real? Sam Mercury 2020.
Yeah.
All right, well, we added like 40 more minutes to this podcast.
We did, yeah.
So thank you so much for listening.
I wanted to give myself more footage to choose from.
There you go. So you can edit out all the awkward bullshit that we have from earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. You can always listen to the Chill Spot podcast every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on YouTube or Podbean or Spotify or Google Podcast or Apple Podcasts. We're on all that shit.
Yeah.
We had actually a new thing to our social media. If you ever want to ask us a question, like an anonymous question, you can ask us on our Ask FM.
Yeah.
Which is in our link tree.
Yeah.
Which, if you're on YouTube. Oh, I thought you were going to.
Oh, I was going to let you finish.
Okay. Oh,
I was going to say yeah after you finish the point.
Okay. Sorry. Hang on. Okay, here we go. If you're watching on YouTube, you can check out the link in the description.
Yeah.
And then ask us anonymous questions.
Yeah.
And we'll do Q&A videos.
Yeah.
Which will be fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening. Have yourselves a great old day.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.